This is Positive Dating with Patricia Raskin. How to have the time of your life, how to meet that special connection, how to learn about the beauty within, and live your best life. This program is produced by Raskin Resources, who is wholly responsible for the content, opinions, and guests. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of Cumulus Media, its management, or staff. Positive living, positive loving, positive dating. Now, Patricia Raskin.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Positive Dating, and I'm Patricia Raskin, and it's really fun to be with you each week and share some amazing guests and some insightful tips and some thought-provoking information for you to really think. And this show really is for you, for the listener, to give you ideas and inspiration and hear different points of view about dating and about creating relationships that are long-lasting and that really work for you. I have with me tonight in the studio my co-host tonight, a friend and a new person for this evening, and I'm excited to have him, Matt Espute. Did I say your name correctly, Matt?
Yes, you did.
Well, good. All right, let me tell people about you. Matt Espute is a personal trainer, and he's worked in that field for nearly 20 years. He owns Fitness Profiles and has served clients from 14 to 88 years old.
That's correct, yes.
Wow.
All ages.
All right. And your focus is on overall health, strength, functional conditioning, with a holistic approach that includes nutrition.
That's correct.
All right, as part of a total fitness program. You also own Matt Restoration, which is a boutique residential remodeling company, which is licensed and insured and focuses on custom design and renovation and construction and repair and alteration projects all around this area.
That's correct.
All right. And if that isn't enough, you also have worked as a model for print and TV and runway. And you're the author of the weekly column Fit for Life, which appears every Saturday morning in both in Go Local Prov in Rhode Island and Go Local Worcester in the Worcester market.
Yes, I stay busy.
You do.
I do.
I mean, it's great. And, you know, I'm excited to have you on tonight. I know you're single.
I am.
You haven't been married before.
I have not.
That doesn't mean you haven't had relationships, right?
That's true. I've had relationships, but
Sure.
never taken the plunge into the marriage.
As of yet.
As of yet.
All right. So one of the things we've asked on the other show, we've done this, and I've been asking our listeners to call in, and I've gotten a little feedback. I'd love your feedback, and this is a question for you listeners for tonight, and it's one we've asked before. It's, what do you think is the best way to meet people? And we've got 3 or 4 choices here. One is online dating. One is through personal introduction, and that could be 2 ways. One through a friend, and the other one could be through a professional matchmaker. And then the other way would be through a club or a bar. So it's online, it's in person, right, at a club or a bar,
right,
or through a third party. What do you think?
Well, what do I think? This day and age, in being, the demographic where we're located in Rhode Island, which is not a real singles-friendly type of state, just basically based on the size, I have to go with the online dating.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm 45 years old. I'm not young anymore, so the nightclub thing is a little bit of the past for me personally. And I'm sure 20-somethings still go to nightclubs and meet people of their age. But in my own personal as of lately experience has been the online dating, because it's just there's so many people online right now, and the choices are just. The field is so much larger.
All right, we have to ask a 20-something, which is Shelby, who is our technical producer. Welcome, Shelby.
Hi, Patricia.
All right, what do you think? What do you think is the best way? Now, remember, there's an age difference here. If you had a choice, would you want to meet someone through online dating, in person, like at a club or a bar, or through a third party?
Oh, gosh, that's so difficult. Each one has its own benefits. Mm-hmm. I guess
cons.
Pros and cons. If you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would have said in person. But ever since moving out here from California and not really knowing anyone, I would definitely say online.
Yeah, both you and Matt. Now it's interesting because I'm in another generation. I'm in another age group.
What do you prefer, Patricia?
I prefer through an introduction. And not necessarily, it could be a friend or it could be somebody professional. But I'm not talking about online. I'm talking about somebody who really, is looking at me and looking at other people and really almost creating matches.
Well, but it's so difficult when somebody says, oh, you'll love this person. Oh, let me set you up. You'll love them. And then when you don't...
It's awkward. I agree with you. And on the other hand, what you're talking about, Patricia, is two totally different entities.
Yeah,
Somebody's just doing it as a business, and then somebody else has an emotional investment in it, meaning like, you're really fond of these two people, and you think that they would really go great together. But then when it doesn't happen, it's a 50-50 chance. The odds
Whereas
are...
the professional has really like almost researched this and studied. And if it doesn't work, it's okay.
It's all statistics and formulas.
There's
no emotional, there's no personal...
They're not going to be upset. They're just going to go on and see who's another person.
Exactly.
Right. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, I've met people all different ways, but the online dating is not my favorite, although I've met great people there. It's a
lot of work. It is a lot of work, too. It's just Bing. You're going to find, the person of your dreams online. It doesn't work that way either. Yeah. You have to do, research, meet a lot of people. And people lie about their profiles and they put old pictures. And so, you have to kind of sift through it a little bit.
What's a red flag for you when you are online, Matt? I mean, what would be like, what attracts you immediately and what doesn't attract you immediately?
Well, I'll say what doesn't is when a female has her profile picture, she has 6 or 7 pictures, and every single one of them she has some sort of a drink in her hand, or she's leaning over a bar. That's kind of a next right away, because the girl obviously hasn't gotten over going out and partying, and at 40 years old, that's a little old. When a girl has an entourage of friends at this age, it's just it's just something I don't. It's just that is a red flag right there. Okay,
and what's something that does attract you? I mean, when you think of the ones and you say, oh, I think I'm going to respond.
Cute smile. You can, you can't really tell somebody's personality from their pictures, so it's obviously an aesthetic thing when you're looking.
What about what they say? Anything in the profile?
A lot of profiles have the same type of banter, not looking to play.
Walking on the beach.
Yeah, walking on the beach, picnic basket lunches.
So does everybody, right?
Yeah, so they're these Harlequin romance profiles are just, good luck. You're looking for
I had someone say to me, everybody wants to walk on the beach. How come not everybody's there?
Well, and then they want Fabio to come up on a white horse and sweep them away. Well, that's, so I look for a little, some creativity and, different stuff like that.
And so somebody who's written something more creative than just the standard.
Yeah, exactly. If a girl has a picture in kind of a cool car or something like that.
All right, and now I'm upping the ante here, Matt.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now you go out with this person.
Okay.
Who pays, in your opinion?
Well, generally you try to keep the first date light, so
like a coffee shop.
A coffee shop. So the monetary factor is, not a big deal. It's a cup of coffee and some conversation.
Okay. That would be the guy. The guy.
Well, I mean, that's old school, but yeah, generally, if you absolutely offer the pay, obviously.
Right. And what about the next date? How do you? I mean, is it all different? I mean, because there's so much, and we're going to be hearing from several people tonight who are experts in dating etiquette, but and that's all well and good to hear from the expert, but I think it's to hear the real story really tells the story. So if you're meeting somebody and you like them, what do you do next?
Well, it's like my exercise programs. They're all a series of progressions. You go from the coffee date, and then you have lunch, and then see where it goes from there. Right. Usually by the second date, you have a little better.
How do you feel if a woman is aggressive to you? For example, you go out for coffee, and she says to you, Matt, I really liked you. I hope we can see each other again. How do you feel about that?
I prefer that rather than try to play, mind reader. It's always nice for a woman to take a little initiative and, say what's on her mind. Again, at this stage of the game, these little dating games don't fly very well with me. Should I call her back? Should I? If you like somebody, you call them, you talk to them. I'm a big advocate of expression. Just say what you're thinking right now.
It was funny. And it's interesting because I have a personal trainer and he's married, and I was telling him some of this stuff. But you should do this, you should do this. And he looked at me and he said, What about just being yourself? What happened to that?
Exactly. That's the best way, because people can tell. If you're studying somebody a little bit, you can tell if they're trying to be fake or if they're, just kind of relaxed. And I mean, everybody has the right to have butterflies on the first, second date. So,
when you meet someone, what is it? What would be something that would move you to see them again, and not? In other words, a deal breaker, but I mean both. Can you think of think of somebody you met, and was it the smile? Was it the engaging personality? Was it that they?
Well, the deal breaker happens a lot more often than the follow up. Especially when you're doing the online thing. So, I don't know. The deal breakers could be she's just boring. She has no charisma. I like a little bit of a dynamic personality. Somebody that's a little bit outgoing
and looks into your eye and really is present with you.
Yeah, and kind of is receptive to what you're saying, is kind of interested in what you have to say. The banter is easy. Nothing's really easy in life, but it flows. It's
interesting. Great. Well, this is fun,
yes, it is. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Well, and I'm glad, and because one of the things we do is, and you'll see tonight, we have a lot of experts on, and I think that's all well and good, but it's so important to get the story from us. We're out there. We're out there in the trenches.
Exactly.
Right? And so, and folks, you're out there too, hopefully. Yep. So we want to get your opinion. So call us at 438-WPRO, 438-9776, or 800-321-WPRO, 800-321-9776. And I want to share this, and then I'm going to talk about my guests coming up for the evening. But what's really interesting is on the 15th, we're going to do something special. We're going to bring Phil Ayu back, who has been a co-host before. And we're going to have 3 women in the studio. We're going to do the old-fashioned dating game, guy. And so we'll have 3 women in the studio. They'll share some of their story. And then we'll have Phil in another room, not seeing them, kind of asking questions and interviewing them, and then picking one. And we have Gracie's Downtown, which is a wonderful, beautiful romantic restaurant where he'll be able to take the date. So if any of you lovely women out there want to be part of this, and you say, yeah, I'd love to come in the studio, I want to be one of the 3 ladies, write to me, Patricia at patriciaraskin.com. And I'm serious. Just write to me. And we certainly I'd love to hear from you. All right, coming up next after the break, we have Elliott Connie, who's a best-selling author, couples therapist. He's a speaker. His book is called Solution-Focused Marriage. But today he's going to talk about dating tips instead of marriage tips. And we're going to talk about dating and Valentine's Day. And that should be fun. We're going to have a few minutes with Elliott. We're going to do that right after the break. And then at 7:30, we're going to bring on Brian. It's hard to pronounce his last name, but Recepsinski. I know. He's the gay love coach, and he's one of the leading love coaches for the gay community. So that's going to be very interesting. So got a lot of good stuff. When the 8 o'clock hour, we're packed. So we'd love to hear from you. This is exciting and dynamic. 438-WPRO, 438-9776. And if you're shy, talk to Shelby. She's fabulous. Just tell her what's on your mind, and she will relate it to us. All right, you're listening to Positive Dating, and I'm Patricia Raskin. I'm here with my co-host tonight, Matt Espute, and we'll be right back, right here on News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM, WPRO, the voice.
Patricia Raskin, News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM, WPRO.
Hi, everyone. We are back. And you are listening to Positive Dating, and I'm Patricia Raskin, right here on News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM, WPRO, the voice of Rhode Island. I want to thank Shelby Ray, who is our technical producer and is behind the board. Thank you, Shelby. And she does a great job. So, are you there? Okay, she's waving. She's smiling. And I want to thank Nancy Thomas, who is my PR person, who is very conscientious and a dear friend. She is doing the Facebook and Twitter and is reminding me.
For me as well.
Facebook. Yes, absolutely. And so on Facebook, Nancy, if I'm wrong, you'll tell me. It's Patricia Dating on Twitter if you want to write, and she'll pick up the message. Or it's Positive Dating Radio Show. I believe that's right. So, and that would be Facebook. Okay. We have with us on the phone, and I want to welcome back Matt Espute, who is my co-host tonight.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
great
fun
to be here.
Yeah. All right. On the phone with us, we have Elliott Connie, who's a best-selling author, couples therapist, internationally known speaker and teacher. And his book is Solution-Focused Marriage. You can go to elliotspeaks.com. We're talking tonight about dating tips and relating to dating and Valentine's Day. Welcome, Elliott.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I know you work a lot with couples who are married, but if people are couples who are dating as well. So,
Yes.
I'd love you to talk about what do you think really, what are you seeing in terms of people being successful at dating and communicating effectively?
Well, people who are really successful at dating, you have to do a couple of things. Number one, you have to have the ability to communicate what you need and when and how your dating interest is meeting those needs and making you happy. And absolutely, positively do not settle. Don't date just because I've been single for a while.
We've been talking about that. We talk about that a lot on the show. I keep asking my listeners, call in, do you think you should settle? And most people say you shouldn't. And I agree.
You should never settle. But, that's much easier said than done. You've been single for 3 years, and you're lonely, and everybody you know has a wedding on every weekend that's on your foreseeable calendar, and then someone you meet, there are a couple of red flags. As human beings, we have a way of kind of ignoring those things. And we have a way of convincing ourselves that we will be able to coax those problems away from this person. And the truth is you can't. Those problems are going to pop up later on in your life.
Let me ask you.
Not settle.
Let me ask you a controversial question, but it's coming up a lot.
Okay.
And that is, here's the scenario: you've been single a while, you have friends, but you meet somebody who's a friend, and it's not the person who's going to be with you forever. What is your feeling about friends with benefits if the rules are very clear? Do you say no? Do you say maybe? Do you say yes?
I say it's an individual. That is a controversial question.
I know it is.
You kind of get me in trouble.
And we'll ask Matt. We'll ask Matt. That'll get you off the hook, Elliott. We'll ask Matt his opinion too. But go ahead.
No, I'll tell you. I'm originally from Franklin, Massachusetts, so I'm quite sure some of my friends are going to be listening to this.
Okay.
But I will say it's an individual choice, and here's the thing: sex is an emotional act.
Yeah.
I think men kind of get treated like we're Neanderthals, and we're capable of having emotion with sex, and we're not. Sex is an emotional act. It requires emotional connectivity. So if you think that the relationship that you're having friends with benefit in can grow into something more, then by all means. It's an individual choice and have at it. Mm-hmm. But I absolutely would say don't ever get in one of those relationships thinking that emotionality is not going to become a part of it. Mm-hmm. Because I promise you, at some point, emotionality is going to jump up, and each of you are going to develop feelings of romantic natures towards each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So bringing that fast forwarding, do you want to add to that, Matt?
No, I kind of agree with that. Agree with that a little bit, because if you're a friend with somebody, there's some sort of emotional involvement there, and with the benefits obviously would be sex. So there's obviously some feeling there as well. In my opinion, when you run into situations like that, you like each other and you have some good sexual chemistry, but there's something missing that's going to take you to that last step, and whatever that may be. Mm-hmm. That's something that you're probably never gonna find with that person.
So you have to decide.
Exactly.
What you're saying is it's not black and white. You really have to decide, but you have to be careful. I think that's what you're saying, Elliott, because you're running the risk of the emotional attachment.
Right. You cannot, and lots of people do. They get into the relationship thinking that we're going to have sex because we're both single, and we're just going to be friends with benefits, and it's going to be great, and it's going to be, we both understand the rules, and the rules are very clear and all that stuff. But you're human, and our brains are emotionally connected, and sex and money generate emotionality no matter what. Yeah. So if you're sleeping with somebody, you must know that eventually emotionality is going to pop up. Yeah. Just like money. If you've got a really close friend, and I don't care how close the friend, if you want to make emotion part of that relationship, give that friend $1,000 and watch what happens. It's just not that clear. You're going to have emotion involved. Yeah. So if you're going to get in one of those relationships, you just better be aware that emotions are going to pop up. You're going to develop feelings. They're going to develop feelings. And then those rules get thrown out the window. They become quite irrelevant.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Valentine's Day. What are some do's and don'ts for Valentine's Day upcoming for folks dating who, are looking at relationships?
Well, the best thing, the best advice I can give dating couples is when you're dating, in the dating phase of the relationship, the early stages of the relationship, pay attention. Notice what your partner's doing that makes you happy and what you're doing that makes you happy. The dating time of the relationship is actually the best time because it's before our human nature makes us become complacent. So when you're planning a relationship like a Valentine's Day date on your second year of dating or your first year of dating even, you plan every detail with the hope and goal of making your partner happy, joyous, smile, laugh, all of those things, helping that person fall in love with you and develop positive feelings for you and all those things. You must pay attention to that feeling because when you've been married for 10 years, it's just really easy to take the relationship for granted. Mm-hmm. And as humans, we have a tendency that we only pay attention to the relationship when there's a problem. But in the dating stages, I advise all couples to pay really close attention to your relationship when it's blissful, joyous, and happy, because that's actually the information you need most of your life.
For when it gets tough? When you mean right. For when it gets tough to go back to the positive?
Well, not even just when it gets tough, but when it gets complacent. You need to remember, what did I used to do to make this person happy? Where did I take them? How did I plan dates? What did I wear? How did I look at them? How often did I hold their hand? How often did I kiss them? What romantic things did I say?
So keep it alive. Keep it alive.
In my practice, I can't tell you how many couples say things to me like, she used to leave me notes, or he used to write me love songs, or she used to send me loving text messages. So as you're planning your Valentine's Day date, do so with awareness and interest, and put that stuff in your filing cabinet so you remember, these are the things I need to be doing 30 years from now. I'm not just doing this to help you fall in love with me. I should also keep doing it to keep you in love with me.
This is great. That's great. And we'll have to have you come back. We really will, Elliott.
Awesome.
Really appreciate it.
From Franklin, Mass. I want to come back.
All right, absolutely. Tell us how people can find you.
The easiest way to find me online is at www.elliottSpeaks.com, ELLIOTT speaks.com. Right. And that is also my Twitter handle, and you can find me on Facebook page by searching that same term, ElliottSpeaks.com.
All right. Thanks so much, Elliott.
No, thanks for having me. I love it.
All right. Okay. All right. And we're going to take a break. Shelby, do I have 30 seconds here? No, I don't. All right. So we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back and talk to Matt some more. And then we're going to be talking to Brian, who's the gay love coach. And that's going to be so interesting. All of this show today is very different and interesting and varied. And again, we'd love to hear from you. And you can call us at 438-WPRO-9776. You're listening to Positive Dating right here on News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM, WPRO, the voice of Rhode Island. I'm Patricia Raskin, and we'll be right back.